Department officers are still in an emergency schedule, so we have all of our officers that are addressing public safety needs. Fortunately, I have some good news. We have no traffic collisions that are related to any of the power outages over the last 24 hours. And we have not had any reported burglaries or confirmed looting incidents within the evacuation zones. Additionally, we've had a few missing person reports that have come in. Fortunately, all of those missing persons have been located. If you do need to report a missing person, we do ask you to call our Santa Rosa Police Department dispatch at 707-528-5222. As a reminder, all evacuation orders and warnings are still in effect today. If you live within the city limits and you are unsure of where you live or unsure where the designated warning zones or evacuation zones are, please go to our website at srcity.org/evac zones. Remember, our evacuation orders means that it's unlawful to enter the area because it is unsafe. We ask you to continue to obey those evacuation orders as we move forward, and that includes the road closures. Santa Rosa residents should continue to monitor our emergency alerts again, and we ask you to go to srcity.org/glassfire. We're continuing to watch over and maintain our safety for the community in the evacuation zones, and we're using our officers and mutual aid from other agencies. So we thank the mutual aid officers from the other agencies who are helping us out. And again, a reminder, it's very important to understand that we will not tolerate looting and or any intent to loot. Our officers are out there to address people who are not authorized to be in the evacuation zones. And if there is looting or people not supposed to be there, we will take enforcement action. Thank you very much.
Speaking next in Unified Command, Santa Rosa Fire Chief Tony Gosner.
Hello, everyone. Tony Gosner, Santa Rosa Fire Chief. I just want to let everyone know, since the start of this incident on Sunday, we have recalled everyone in the Santa Rosa Fire Department. They're still on duty today, as well as we've done 2 all-calls for all fire agencies in the Sonoma County area. I know Napa County did the same type of all-call on Sunday. So I just want to let everyone know that every available firefighter that could work came to work and went to work, and most of them are still out there supporting the incident. It's been a long 2 days for everyone. We are in total support of Team 3. They're an excellent team to help manage this fire. And our priorities remain as much as putting this fire out, maintaining perimeter control, making sure that we can repopulate in a safe, efficient manner. So for all of you that are outside of the fire zone that are evacuated, we are working on those plans as we speak, given what the weather gives us and what kind of fire activity we have. But we understand that the population that is out of their residence, while it is inconvenient, it is very important that you stay out of the area. We have multiple fire and law agencies moving in and around all of the fire areas, and we need to get there in a timely fashion. So please stay out of the area if you can. I really appreciate it. If you go to srcity.org/glassfire, you can get all the updated information from the City of Santa Rosa resulting from the glass fire. And really, this is your time to kind of pay attention. We're going to be in this for a couple of weeks is my take on this, which means it's going to be kind of long and it's going to be painful for those that are dealing with it. So take a deep breath, take care of yourself, take care of your neighbors, and make sure that you're doing everything you can to be part of the solution. Thank you so much.
Next is Sonoma County Sheriff Essick.
Good morning. Before I get started today, I want to acknowledge something that we're all dealing with, and that is some significant fire fatigue. We are nearing the 3-year mark of the Tubbs fire that devastated our community. and this is the fourth major fire in our community since 2017. Many people are feeling the effects. Many people are evacuating. They've evacuated multiple times. And I just want everyone to know that we continue to support you here at the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office and through all of our public safety partners to help you answer your questions and guide you to safety. The Sheriff's Office primary responsibility is evacuations in the unincorporated areas of the county. And we certainly appreciate the rapid response that we've received from people who have heeded those evacuation warnings and moved out of the area. At the Sheriff's Office, we have all hands on deck. We have, in addition to our normal patrol staffing, we have over 50 deputies in the field right now patrolling evacuation zones, directing people to safety, and answering questions for them. We've also partnered with our other public safety agencies, Santa Rosa Police Department and the California Highway Patrol, to work with traffic control points and checkpoints to keep your neighborhood safe. The three things that you can do right now to continue to help us help you is to sign up for SoCo Alert, and you can do so at socoemergency.org, which is the Sonoma County's website. You can also map your location there. If you have questions about if you are in an evacuation zone, you can go to socoemergency.org, enter your address, and determine if you are in an evacuation zone and what your zone number is. Second, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay informed. We are regularly updating those platforms. They are there to supplement official information put out by socoemergency.org. And please take the evacuation warning serious. If you are in an evacuation, mandatory evacuation area, please, you should pack up and leave. You should be gone. If you're in a warning area, we want you to have your go bags ready, your emergency kits ready, including medication, pets, and important documents so that you're ready to go at a moment's notice. As the fire officials have told you today, this fire still is unpredictable, it's fast moving, and we want you to be prepared. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon. And remember to continue to check on your neighbors, especially the older folks in your neighborhood, elderly, people who are infirmed and not able to get around as well. Please check in on them, make sure they're prepared as well as you are. Thank you.
Speaking next from the Napa County Sheriff's Office is Under Sheriff John Crawford.
Good morning. I'm not going to rehash what the other chiefs and the sheriff has referred to. It's all good advice, and certainly I can't build on it. First, what I'd like to say is thank you for all the help that we're getting, and it seems like we haven't properly thanked everybody for the last time, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and here we are again saying thank you. So thank you to CAL FIRE, to all of our allied agencies, and to our outside mutual aid requests that have been filled by other agencies outside the Napa County area. I would just mention that since the fire has started, our deputies and other officers have been actively working with CAL FIRE, performing evacuations, manning road closures, and in general just trying to keep people as safe as we can. I would like to remind one thing I will build on is that these roads have been significantly impacted. There are falling trees, power poles that are down, so please understand that it's just not safe for us to allow people in these evacuated areas right now. And then lastly, the importance of the high-low siren. If you all remember, we've had these sirens installed in our vehicles here in Napa County as well as in Sonoma County. It emits a distinctive two-tone sound, which indicates it's time to evacuate. So in those areas, much as in the areas of Deer Park and Angwin in Napa County where cellular service is spotty, internet might be spotty, please remember if you hear that siren, that it's time to evacuate. Thank you.
Next, speaking from the California Highway Patrol is Captain Wolf.
Good morning. I'm Aristotle Wolf. I'm your local CHP commander here in Sonoma County. The Highway Patrol, as always, is upstaffing for this incident, both in Sonoma and Napa County. We're drawing resources in from all over the CHP, 9 Bay Area counties, from the other CHP jurisdictions. We want to support the Sheriff's Department. We are manning traffic control points, and we are also making sure that we are staffing enough to continue to keep you safe on our roadways. We recognize that these are trying times for everyone. We've been through this before in this county and in Napa County, and it's difficult, but we need you to be patient. The best way to stay safe on the roadways are to keep informed with your local traffic updates, any social media sources you may have, and socoemergency.org. Take a look at and their Napa counterparts. You want to take a look at those conditions because there's no fast way around these closures. The best way to get around them efficiently and keep your life as normal as possible is to plan ahead, know the routes, use the freeways when you can, and work your way back towards those locations rather than try to take small roads where you maybe get stuck and frustrated and have to turn around. Again, we ask you to exercise patience. We also want you to exercise good behavior on the roadways, as we've seen in these evacuations. People have been very orderly, very cooperative, because we know that's the best way to get through this. So thank you for your patience and support, and stay Sonoma strong.
Our final formal speaker from the CAL FIRE Sonoma Lake Napa unit is Unit Chief Jones.
Thank you all for listening in today. It's very important that you do so. A lot of information is given to you about the incident here. I have good news and I have bad news. So the bad news is I'm standing in front of you once again to talk to you about the fires that are happening in Sonoma and Napa County. The good news is that the folks behind me, the folks that you don't see in your camera in front of me, and everyone out there, the support staff that are supporting you, the evacuees, the public, they're all here for you. They've all done an amazing job. They're very exercised. They're the most professional that we have. Your local resources, CAL FIRE, and all of our cooperators have been exceptional to make sure that we put this fire out, to get you home efficiently and back in your home safely. I know that this has been a large impact on all of you, and for those of you that are evacuated and for those of you who've lost your home, my heart goes out to all of you. Everyone's doing their best to get you home safely and to put the fire out. Most of the folks here, Team 3, that is standing behind you, you heard Chief C talk to you. He was here along with his team during the Tubbs, the Atlas, the Nuns, all of those fires in 17. So this team well knows the area and what's at stake. So I want you to feel good about the folks that are here and all of our local cooperators. I'm asking you to please be patient. This is a large fire, so think about it. This fire started on the 27th about 4 o'clock in the morning. We're at 42,000 acres covering 2 counties. That is a lot of territory. It's a lot of work. So thank you for your patience. I also ask you, just as though our cooperators behind me have mentioned, is that you need to have a plan. We still have months to go for fire season. And that means that this could happen again. I pray to God it does not, but we still have a lot of fire season to go. So readyforwildfire.org is a place that you can go to identify and start with a plan so that you're ready to go. Adhere to those warnings. Adhere to the orders. A fire hose or a garden hose is not going to protect your home. You need to leave so that we, the first responders in the field, can protect you. So life, property, and homes, and in that order. So if you're in your home and you have not evacuated, our first priority is life safety. So please do your part. Thank you very much for tuning in. This team will still have information every day to allow you the opportunity to get the most updated information. If you also on fire.ca.gov is where incident information, not only for this one, but also for around the state, you can find that. Thank you again.
That's the conclusion of our formal presentations. Happy to answer any questions at this point.
I understand there are fires everywhere along the bridge from Calistoga and Angel. Can you describe a little bit of that firefight?
Yes, the question was in relation to the firefight between Calistoga and Angwin, and just further clarification about what the conditions are between those two areas. And I'll pass it over to Operations Jackson Chief.
So right now in the East Zone, that's our top priority, is that area you described between Calistoga and Angwin. Fire is very active there. It's in some very steep, inhospitable terrain, base of Mount St. Helena, and what's also known as the Palisades. So it's a tough firefight there. We are trying to establish some old control lines that we've used in the past. Some of that we were met without success, unfortunately. So we've had to just take a step back and reconnoiter that and establish some new lines. So it's an arduous process. We've had some limited resources. We're getting resources in slowly to assist us with that. So as soon as we can, we're giving that a priority stance as far as the firefight to protect that community of not only Angwin, but also into moving further into Pope Valley and then into Lake County and affect yet another county. So the question is there air support there? Yes. Currently, that is where we have some clean, or what we call clean air, clear air, that we can fly aircraft. We can't fly aircraft in the dense smoke or in any high winds. Well, fortunately, we don't have the winds, but we do have the dense smoke. So it makes it very dangerous not only for our air operations to operate in that kind of environment, zero visibility, but also they're not effective with their drops otherwise. So we do have a good set of clean air there. Just prior to the press conference, I was listening to some of the radio traffic between our personnel that are directing the air attack, and they're utilizing both helicopters and fixed-wing assets to drop retardant and drop water and that. But it's a lot of area, it's a huge area, and doing the best we can with the resource we have available.
I wanted to ask about injuries. Reports of injuries. How many were there? Where were they? And what were the circumstances of those injuries?
Yes, the question was related to injuries. We have no confirmed first responder injuries right now that we consider reportable, and reportable is essentially has to meet a certain set of criteria.
Well, I'm talking about residents.
Civilian injuries. I can definitely ask Sheriff Essick if he's had any confirmation on any injuries on the incident.
I'm not even...
Yeah, we can get you that information.
Details on the fight in Annandale, as far as where the lines are, equipment, crew count, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so another question related to the firefight in Annandale here on the west side for Chief Brun.
So yes, the fire is within Annandale State Park. What we are utilizing is the trail system that currently exists in the park. So we're not really having to use any heavy equipment at this point in time. Partly in fact that we didn't really have the accessibility to heavy equipment. Now that we do have that, that is our backup. But we were able to use the current trail system, do some firing or backfiring operations in the evening when the conditions were conducive to do so. And as of this morning, we had a great number of success with that. We're not completely out of danger, out of the woods in that part, but we're feeling much more confident this morning after the operations that took place last night.
Can you be specific about where the fire lines are at this point, like using trails as markers?
Yeah, I can't tell you exactly which trails were utilized within that process. Again, it's a very large fire, and just trying to keep on top of every little trail and so forth is a challenge. But we did keep it as minimal as we could within the park, utilizing current trail systems.
I'm Jeffrey Schaub, KCBS Radio. A lot of people consider you guys women heroes. I'm wondering if there are any specific stories about the difficulties of fighting these fires, or what it is for firefighters, if there's any particular incident. I talked to some firefighters myself out there. It's been brutal, the heat, the terrain. It's time, keeping hydrated. Any stories like that?
Yeah, so the question is related to the kind of firefighters and the hard work that they're doing out there, and any stories. Is there anything specific you're looking for as far as information?
Any particular aspects of the firefight, what it's like to be up in those hills, battling this, the challenges of it, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so the question is related to kind of more depth information about what the challenges are about the firefight. And I think the best person to answer that is Chief C from the Incident Command Team. He's been on incidents back-to-back here for several months and has seen firsthand what that looks like.
So relating to the firefighter effort out there and all the firefighters on the ground, it's been a long summer. Like I said, most of them have been working diligently since the middle of July. We had the big lightning siege that came through Northern California. Over 200 to 300 fires started with large rapid growth throughout Northern California. Multiple incident management teams, both from the state and federal agencies, were deployed and still are deployed today. I can speak for at least Incident Management Team 3. This is our fourth incident we've been assigned to since middle of July. We started in Susanville on the hog incident. We were in Santa Cruz, 86,000 acres in an ancient redwood forest. just last week, we assisted Incident Management Team 5 from CAL FIRE up on the Mendocino west zone of the August complex, over 860,000 acres on that. Friday, a lot of us went home for a couple of days, and then we got the phone call to come here. And it's been like that, not just for the incident management teams, but all the CAL FIRE resources and all the local government resources statewide. Our system here in California is probably one of the most diverse and strongest emergency response systems there is in the nation. We deploy multitude of firefighters and resources all over this state for multitudes of types of incidents, not just wildland fires, for floods, for earthquakes. This state's prone to having devastating incidents. So our firefighters and law enforcement agencies deploy through the Office of Emergency Services along with CAL FIRE resources throughout the year. And it's just not on wildland fires. So yes, our firefighters have been working long hours, long days. We try to give them as much rest as possible, and we try to watch out for their health and welfare. But at the end of the day, we're here to serve the public, and we got a state mission to meet, and that's what we're trying to do, is meet that state mission, mitigate these incidents, so we can actually all take some time off and see our families.
On the basics, I was hoping to get a breakdown of the acreage in Napa County versus Napa.
Yeah, we can break that down for you and get that to you, definitely. The question is related to the actual acreage between the two different counties.
Yeah, and then likewise, do you have a breakdown of resources between the two counties, Napa versus Sonoma?
Between the two zones? We can look into that as well.
And then where those are positioned?
Yeah, so I can get with you after this and we can definitely chat about it. Kevin?
What's the mindset of the firefighters in terms of making sure this thing doesn't get into Santa Rosa any more than it is? What do you all think is going to hold the line here?
Right, so the question was related to what's the mindset about firefighters out there on the line. And you know, Chief Brunton is really running the operations side, so he'd be the best to answer that.
So, what happened a few years ago to both the communities in Napa and Sonoma, pretty devastating to everyone. And without a doubt, it's our number one priority is to keep it out of these communities. We know the communities have already suffered in the past. And that's very difficult when people see this a few years later as they're rebuilding their lives. Personally, I have a vested interest. I was born and raised in Sonoma, so home team advantage there. But even though I don't live here anymore, and then a lot of our personnel, as you heard Chief C said, are very familiar with this area. People that grew up in this area, so you do have when it's your hometown, you put in a little extra effort. So all these firefighters are, regardless if they're from here or from outside the area, we have firefighters from all out throughout the state and from outside the state. So their number one priority is to make sure that the fire stays as small as it can and stays out of these communities. And so they're putting in the extra effort to protect these communities. And I think we're having quite a bit of success. Part of that is the weather is cooperating the best it can with this. We don't have the winds that we had last time, so that gives us an advantage. It's still a tough fight. But we've kind of been here before as well, so unfortunately, but that has given us an advantage of where we had the successes before. We're going to build on those successes. Where we had challenges before, we know where those challenges are, and we're going to make success out of those challenges. So I'm feeling very comfortable and confident that the threat to these, especially city of Santa Rosa, is mitigating. I wouldn't say it's completely out of the woods, but we're looking really good over here. And then same with the community of Calistoga. Right now, Angwin's a little bit of a challenge for us, but I'm feeling comfortable that we're going to be successful in the long run with that.
I have a question regarding what needs to be done to get people back into their homes that are further away from the fire, active or old fire. I just got an alert from pg&e that the fire's been restored in my neighborhood, Little Lincoln, which is west of Calistoga Road. So what needs to be done to get these people back into their homes in terms of infrastructure?
Okay, what needs to be done to get folks back into their homes? I'll answer a little bit, and then I'll turn over to the sheriff. I believe it would be the sheriff's agency and the PD to to explain their part of it, is that we work collaboratively with our law enforcement brothers and sisters in the overall plan and restoring. So when we look at an evacuation and then when we look at repopulation, we have a very set process, a very methodical process, and that process is set up for the safety of the public so that when they return, that it's a safe environment for them to return to, and that they have services in place prior to returning, so they're not returning to something without power, water, and all the necessities. So we have a full process in place. It's one that we've developed over many years of these types of incidents with a lot of success, and very exercised in that, obviously, in this area. So turn it over to either... Yes, sir.
So does power being restored to Middle Lincoln, does that bode well for those residents?
That's always a good sign because, like I said, we want to make sure infrastructure is back in place before we repopulate. So that is a step of the process. So that is, I would say, a positive step into that process. And all signatories have to sign off on it before we allow repopulation, so that we make sure it's completely safe for everybody involved. Sheriff, I want to turn it over to you.
I just have a few brief comments on repopulation. So I think it's important for everyone to realize that anytime we do an evacuation, there's a major process that occurs behind the scenes. And part of that process is repopulation. So we already have staff at the Sheriff's Office working in conjunction with Santa Rosa Police Department and the CAL FIRE to look at repopulation plans. Typically what we've seen is that we will repopulate areas under evacuation warning first, and then we will repopulate areas that were under mandatory evacuation. They do come in stages. There are many factors that come into play, including restoration of infrastructure such as drainage pipes, power lines down, damages to roads, trees down. Those are all factors that we look at. We understand that probably the biggest anxiety builder for people during a time like this is being away from their home and being denied access. And I can assure you that it is an absolute top priority for all of us in law enforcement and in CAL FIRE to get you back home as quickly as we can, but to do so safely and not have your repopulation interfere with the active firefighting efforts that are underway.
Sheriff, can you have somebody from the county or the city to talk about that damage, infrastructure damage here specifically?
So the question is about assessing damage to the infrastructure. That is a process that is kind of an ongoing process. I don't have any update for you on that right now. As soon as the area is determined to be safe, we have CAL FIRE experts and local officials from utility companies get in there, do damage assessments. So that will be an update that we'll have to provide to you at a later time. Thank you.
All right. Just to summarize, as far as the information flow goes, the best place for information on this incident about the fire is through the fire.ca.gov website and signing up for incident updates. The best information for evacuations, shelters, and all the local resources is really within the jurisdictional area that you're looking for that information. So if you're in unincorporated Sonoma County, going to the county's website, their EOC website. Same for Napa County, their EOC, and the city of Santa Rosa as well. I know a lot of questions come up about where to get information. We cross-link all of the information in our releases, so if you're looking for something specific or general, fire or evacuation, it does all correlate with each other. With that, we are, as we heard, still starting to talk about the repopulation process. We're in that critical phase right now where we're looking at evacuations and repopulation at the same time. So it's a very dynamic incident, and information will be forthcoming through the normal processes as and when that all takes place. With that, we are going to have another a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. at this same location. I'll close this English language version out. We'll give it just a minute and we'll transition to the Spanish language version. Thanks for joining us.
We need to get you guys going. Sure. Okay. We got to get them rolled back in and ask people out. We're going to take it. Thanks, Chief.